Kathy, what are you doing now? No, there's a bar across the street from Elise's office, and I want you. I'm at Elise's office now. I came by to check something. Just come down. I want to talk in person. Look, are you doing something right now? So just come. With Elise, because she's the editor of my book. Kathy, I came here to talk to her about my book. Do we have to do this now? He touched the wall and decided he had had enough. He was exhausted, first of all, and he could feel it. His lungs were throbbing and heavy, and his left arm was stinging from the shoulder right down to his wrist. Besides that, 7 laps in and the water was still freezing cold. And if he wanted to be honest about it, he felt foolish. A ghost-pale, braceless thing flapping about frantically, desperately trying to keep pace with the mermaid in the next lane. She was at least half a lap ahead of him, though he hadn't been able to keep track of her at all while he was swimming. Every time he'd try to find her while he was catching her breath, she'd be completely out of range. But he could see her now that he was grabbing onto the side of the pool. He watched her back stretching, watched how she seemed to ride the water. Her arm came up over her ear and slid back under the surface, soundlessly, effortlessly. Now, she touched the opposite wall and was headed back towards him, and he watched as she changed her stroke, her head coming up and then submerging again in a burst of energy. He could see the shape of her face under her goggles, sensed the curve of her breasts as she pushed up into the air. She didn't seem particularly familiar at that moment. He didn't recognize the fierceness in her brow, the tension in her biceps, the fury in the pumping of her calves. It had never occurred to him that 3 years on, he would be learning new things about her. It hit him in that moment that there were so many things he would discover. How her stomach swelled when she was pregnant, or how the skin around her eyes would wrinkle as the years passed. She touched the wall next to him and pushed off, but she must have sensed something. And she looked behind her and saw him standing at the wall, one arm hanging off the side, his teeth chattering slightly. She slowed down and turned to face him, a quizzical smile crossing her lips. He smiled back at her as she pulled the goggles over her cap. Ah, he thought, there she is. I recognize her now. He would spend the rest of the day trying to determine what was driving her silence. Her clenched jaw, her sharp turns away from him. "You don't have to let me win," she was screaming. But he couldn't hear it at all.